Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Tennessee Titans and going over whether or not they should look into trading for all-pro cornerback Xavien Howard. But before we get on that topic, question for those of you, and comment down below what your trade package would be. Would it be 2 first-round picks, a first-round pick, 2 seconds, whatever it is? Comment down below and kind of hear my answer throughout. Getting straight into it though, addressing kind of the elephant in the room would be Titans have already made a trade this offseason in Julio Jones. Do they want to keep giving up draft capital? The way I see it is this. Is the Titans Super Bowl window this year and this year only? No. But I think it's probably going to be the biggest opening of the Super Bowl window over the next 3 years? Probably, unless they get an extra big corner in the next offseason, things may be different. But as far as the best chance they've had over the past 3 years, this is it now. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, healthy O-line, Ryan Tannehill, Mike Vrabel, with the defense that is, I don't want to say on the come up, but is improving compared to last year. Everyone knows this Tennessee Titans offense is going to be fighting to possibly be the best in the league. Why not go out there and put all your eggs in one basket to get Xavien Howard? He would really be the cherry on top to really saying Tennessee might be the best team in the AFC. And I know that sounds kind of bold because their defense does have some holes. You don't add one guy and all of a sudden everything is fixed. But when you add a guy that's a top 3 corner with a pretty good safety in Kevin Byard, a great number 2 corner in Janoris Jenkins, a great corner in Caleb Farley to learn from Xavien Howard, that is a pretty dangerous secondary if things went Tennessee's way. If Caleb Farley became this, number 1 corner that he was at one point prospected to be, that would be a dangerous secondary. I would still not be fully confident in the pass rush. I'm glad they brought in Bud Dupree to help out Big Jeff, but still, it wouldn't be a perfect defense again. But this would be a defense I could get behind and say, this is going to be a top half defense in the league with I assume a top 5 offense in the league. If I'm Tennessee, I'm not saying they need to do it or have to do it, but I would at least make the phone call. Xavien Howard's unhappy. I guess if those of you, I guess I should have said this at the beginning. Those of you who don't know, Miami Dolphins cornerback Xavien Howard has requested a trade. He's unhappy and wants pay. That's also a situation for Tennessee. Cap space is going to be tough to crunch, but at this point in time, be aggressive and go for it. I'll put all your eggs in one basket. To me, no matter how tight the cap space is, no matter how much draft capital you give up, if you get a Super Bowl ring at the end of the day, at the end of this season, whenever it may be, you'll never look back on the tough stress of crunching the numbers caused or what picks you had to give up. You'll never look back. It will always be worth it. I'll trade in a Super Bowl ring for losing my number 32 overall pick in the NFL draft for Xavien Howard. I'll do that all day. So if I'm Tennessee again, I get they don't have the most draft capital. They lost their 2nd this year. They lost their 4th this year. But for reference, Jalen Ramsey went for 2 first-round picks, and I would say they're pretty close in talent. Jalen Ramsey to Xavien Howard. However, that was when Jalen Ramsey was 26. Xavien Howard is now 28, being a little bit older and demanding or requesting, whatever you want to call it, requesting a trade. I feel like Miami does not have the most leverage, and they can't really ask for 2 first-round picks. Because even if you compare him to Ramsey was 2 years younger at that time. So I'm thinking probably a 1st and then some, maybe a 1st and a 3rd, a 1st and a 4th, whatever it may be. Maybe Tennessee can offer, a 1st-round pick this year. Again, they would lose their 1st and 2nd. But this is for Xavien Howard, a top 3 cornerback league. Not many people could say they got a top 5 receiver and a top 3 cornerback in the same exact offseason. That's pretty impressive when you're already a team that made the playoffs last year. Any other team, if they're a playoff team and you add a top 5 receiver and a top 3 corner, they're automatically going to have Super Bowl aspirations. I don't care who it is. If you made the playoffs and you add those type of players, Super Bowl is going to be the mecca for them. Like I said, Tennessee, if you call Miami and they're stuck on 2 first-round picks and 2 first-round picks only, then I probably would blow off the deal and say, we're good. We don't want to give it that match capital. We're confident with our team. We were just looking into it. But if their starting point is like a 1st and a 3rd, and that's where they're starting, you might be able to negotiate down to a 1st and a 4th, or a 1st and a role player. And who would the Titans give up if they want to look into a Josh Reynolds? I wouldn't want to lose my wide receiver number 3, but if it saves me a 2nd-round pick or something like that, I would consider it. Or Janoris Jenkins, I don't want to lose him, but if Miami was saying we want 2 firsts, but we'll accept a 1st in Janoris because that gives Miami still a decent corner to rely on, I would consider it. Again, I'm not set in stone on those moves, but I would look into those moves again. I'm open to it. I would just evaluate the situation a little bit more if I was Tennessee. I'm not making any deal today, probably, but I would definitely make a phone call. What's he going to cost? What shape is he in? What money is he looking for? Again, this will be tight for Tennessee to fit everyone on the cap space. Julio Jones has cost him, I think, $10-15 million already. A.J. Brown, luckily, some guys are on their rookie contracts, such as A.J. Brown, but not for long. You got to make an aggressive move while you can afford everyone, and you're probably going to do some restructuring across your whole starting roster in order to fit Xavien Howard, an extra guy that's going to cost $15-ish million. But again, for the Super Bowl ring, the prize no one can put a price on. I'm throwing a trade out there. Tennessee, Vegas definitely changed their odds. I'm not saying they'd be the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but they definitely up the rankings by far. To me, I see 5 powerhouses in the AFC. I think the Chiefs are kind of 1, and then just a smidge tier below them is Buffalo, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Tennessee. Again, Chiefs are just number 1 because no one's taken the crown from them. They've gone to the AFC Championship the past 3 years, Super Bowl past 2 years. Until someone takes the crown from them, I'm going to put them at number 1. But all of a sudden, if you add in Xavien Howard, the Titans definitely have the capability of going from tier 2 to tier 1. And again, I'm not trying to say Tennessee, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Buffalo are tier 2 teams, but one just comparing them to the best team in their conference. You guys know what I mean. Again, this type of trade would definitely just take them to the next level. I think Tennessee has a great shot of possibly making a run this year with or without Xavien Howard, but that alone should tell you with Xavien Howard, we could seriously win the AFC, go 13-4, 14-3, 15-2, get the first round bye, get all our playoff games at home, and end up in the Super Bowl. And at that point, you made it that far, who knows what can happen. Like I said, they don't need to do it or have to do it, but I think they need and should make a phone call and find out more circumstances. What's he going to cost? Can we even fix that on, restructure the money on our own end? Do we want to give it that much capital? At least look into it, at least evaluate the situation, at least give it some thought is all I would tell Tennessee to do. Again, though, see what Miami's costing. I would offer around a first-round pick. Like I said, Ramsey cost 2 firsts, but he was younger at that time. Xavien Howard now requesting. Miami loses leverage. And with him being 28, you're not going to get 2 first-round picks more likely than not. So therefore, I think that is something Tennessee could at least consider affording. You guys tell me, though, are you all for it? You want Xavien Howard in Tennessee now? Are you all against it? We're fine with Julio. We don't need him. Or you kind of like me, well, what's he going to cost? If Miami's taking 2 firsts, I don't want to see Tennessee give that up. But if they're taking only 1 first, I can go big or go home. I could be aggressive. Aggressiveness pays off in the NFL. The Chiefs, they're making the playoffs year after year, going 11-5 with Alex Smith. They said it's not enough. They traded up. They were aggressive. They went out there and got Mahomes, and it's already resulted in the Super Bowl. A little bit of an extreme case, but you could make the argument, adding Julio Jones and Xavien Howard is just as valuable as adding Mahomes. Not saying it is, but you guys get what I'm saying. Aggressiveness, big moves can definitely help out your team. Go big or go home. Big swings, get your big hits. You guys tell me, though, like I said, and refer back to the question today, what's your trade offer? Again, you kind of already heard mine. Something around first-round pick, around 1st and 3rd, 1st and a role player, 1st and a 4th, whatever it's going to be. We'll just have to see. As always, and of course, thank you for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.